Hello, Ben Robertson here. It is Science with Robertson. It's me kicking the bin over. It is weather. It is the wind and the rain, which is just on there, for today's little mini lesson. Okay, so I want to talk about wind firstly, okay? And wind happens all the time. There is always some wind out there in the atmosphere. And this is how it usually works. Okay, so we always have wind. If I do something like this here, so here I've got the sea, and here I've got the land, for example. There's a few different things that we usually always notice, okay? And let's say it gets hot in a place. It gets nice and hot. So as we have it getting hot here, for example, then hot air, as we know, hot air goes up. Like so. And this is because of that word there, convection, which makes the heat rise. If you're not sure on that, go and check on it. But yeah, convection makes hot air go up. When it gets up, that hot air is then going to start to cool down. It's got to come along a path here, away from the hot, because the hot will push it away. And then after a while, the air gets cold, it's going to start to sink. So it's going to start to come back down, like so. And then, of course, I get the problem now that I have right down here, all the air is here. But air spreads out in all directions. It doesn't stay there. So I have lots of air here. And Bora and lite del dar. I say this here, this area here is my high pressure. Eller högtryck. And here I have my low pressure. And the air always moves from a high pressure to a low pressure. As we're going to be beautifully serenaded by, I believe, the fantastic Mr. Knickerbocker next door. So we get a path like this here. The wind always goes around in this kind of pattern. And we see this around the world. We see this in most places here, that it goes up, gets colder, and then comes around. And you see lots of patterns like this. The equator can be here, for example. And if I make it a bit clearer, it's a bit messy, isn't it? Oh, there it is. So if I make this a bit clearer here, and I just put this bit on, so they're up and down, here it's really hot. And as the hot air goes up, then also the hot water. There's going to be lots and lots of also evaporation. But then as the water comes up here, it makes lots and lots of clouds. And therefore it also makes lots and lots of rain. Over here, the air is coming down. So I get places here that don't have much rain. Here, I often find this pattern at the equator. Very, very hot, lots of evaporation, lots of air going up, lots of rain. Here, very, very hot, still near the equator, but I actually get desert conditions here, whereas this would be more like a rainforest. Because here, there's no water coming up at any point. So the water goes down and down further and never get the chance here to actually get big rainfall. Very, very rare. This pattern here, I see lots and lots and lots. If I look at the world though, if I take, for example, something like, here's the world, there's UK, there's Sweden, Norway, and Spain, this is a bit too big for Europe, it doesn't really matter, Africa, here's America, that's pretty good, that'll do. Actually, it's terrible, but it'll do. And remember, the world spins like this. So you always see, if the sun's over here, it always gets sunshine up here first, around like so. So you always have this to contend with here. So the sun always comes up first in Sweden before the UK. So you get a slight difference there. So it means also the winds go around the world as well. The winds curl around the world as the world is spinning. So it's not just up and down, up and down. The winds don't do this. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But they usually go at angles like this. This is more common for the winds of the earth because the world is spinning around all the time. So we usually see that there for our winds. And we did speak a little bit about rain just then, but there are a few other things to know about. So yes, we're correct that of course when I get a nice big sea here, and as it gets hot, we get evaporation. But those things, clouds, those are really terrible clouds, not my best drawing day. Those clouds are evidence of condensation. That word I know we've done in class time. So condensation, when it goes from the gas into the liquid, can happen in the clouds, and then of course, when I get rain, then I have it all fall down. I can also have snow, or hail, perhaps, hagel. And all of these, the big word for all of these things together, is a horrible word called precipitation. That means rain and snow and hail. All these things together is precipitation. And then it falls down again. It actually completes. It makes a full cycle called the water cycle. We will do it later on in the year. The winds and the rain are interlinked. Without having the winds, the rain would just stay in one place like the rainforest. But in the north and south parts of the world, it doesn't happen. The winds have the chance, as the world is spinning, to move the water that comes up to different places. One reason the UK is so wet is that most of the weather comes over the entire Atlantic Ocean. Most of it evaporating in the warm Caribbean Sea. Weather goes around the world, and it's wind and rain that most people notice about weather. Answer the questions. Have good luck. Take care.